First thing you need to do is to access the back side of the front page. All of these things listed are native specifically to the Big Island. So I want you to choose one of these things. That might mean you have to do a little bit of research, because if you don't know what this thing is, you might want to look it up before you decide you don't want to do it. So do a little research, figure out what you want to do. These other things are not native just to the Big Island, but oftentimes they're ones that kids want to do. Once I have decided and I've chosen the Palila, I am going to decide to write that here. The research I do, this is important because this research is going to help me inform what the pieces are going to be, those little pieces that are connected to my main piece. So I just did some bullet points. I researched Palila, I've given you some websites to do that, or you can do an internet search, not Wikipedia, find out information, a bullet, just some important facts that you can list really quickly. From those facts, I found out that the Palila lives on the upper slopes of Mauna Kea. So I'm going to make Mauna Kea, I'm going to actually make the mountain as one of my little pieces. They eat the mamane seed pods. I'm going to actually make mamane seed pods as one of my pictures. They have a really interesting beak that helps them get to those pods, so I'm going to make a close-up of the beak. These things can be threats or features, just main ideas, little main ideas about your main piece. Once I have this information, this is important. I need to know what my big piece is, my three little pieces. Now down here it says, using reference materials, sketch your design in your sketchbook. It should be large enough to fill the space. Start with drawing the large shapes and then sketching the texture and details. So what that means is, in my sketchbook, your design can be horizontal, landscape, or portrait, you decide. I'm just going to start by building in the basic shapes. The actual size of the metal is about as big as one of my sketchbook pages. So I want to fill the space, also knowing that I am going to be including a border. There is going to be a border on all of our pieces. But I want you just to work with big shapes first. We're not doing the work in our sketchbook. It's just a place to plan and kind of map things out. Think about a coloring book, like a drawing book, where you start with the basic shapes first before we build in our final idea. So I have the basics of what I want my Palila to look like, just the basic shapes, looking at some pictures maybe online. And now that I just have the basics, I didn't put the details here, then I'm going to get this piece of lightweight paper from Mrs. Snyder, and I can put my basics, but as I'm going to, if I wanted to, I could just start filling in more of the main design here. Okay, so the reason I wanted to show you this is I don't want you doing all of the work in your sketchbook, because you are going to have to transfer it to this paper. So next step is to transfer your design to this paper. Another tip to help you is, if you type in your Google search the name of what you're looking for plus line drawing, normally you'll come up with some more basic contour lines like we did for micrography. That's sometimes helpful, and they don't have as much detail, so that way you can get your main shapes of your whatever your subject is. Okay, I've refined my drawing a little bit. I've added a border. I decided to do a border that connects with my piece. I tried to do those mamame seed pods. Your border can be anything you want it to be, but when you do make your border, it needs to be a shape rather than a line. So what I mean by that is, if you make a line that goes around as your border, the only thing I can do with a line is chase it, which means push it in with a pencil. If I double it, which means go around that, now I have a shape that has thickness. See this space here? Now I can decide to push that down with my tool, or I can pop it up from the back. So when you make a border, you want to make your border be a shape rather than just a line. Okay, so think about that. This is as far as you should get on day one. You should have a plan. You should have a picture here of your thing. It fills up the space. It includes a border. I'm ready to put it onto my metal.